What's up, guys? All right, so we got this truck behind me. It looks really familiar to a lot of you guys that are watching on the channel. I just had this on Ryan's channel. Ryan kicked ass making a video on it, and Zach obviously powered through everything that I had ordered for the customer. I mean, he did it the best way possible. So we got this thing riding right. We got the correct lift kit on here for the height that the customer is running. You can see that the CV angles are still awesome. The truck is sitting at an incline right now, so the front end's sitting a little high. That's about almost as flat as you're gonna get anyways, even from factory. They actually don't go completely flat, but nonetheless, I mean, those are really, really good angles. You got your tie rods right there looking awesome. All the rest of the suspension drop down components looking great. Anyway, so this thing's kicking butt. So, you know, the customer's got a couple things done to it already, and we're not really talking about that today, but I wanted to talk about the AIRDOG. You don't see it right now because it's under the truck, but a lot of guys are like, what do I run? Let's see if I actually got the part number on the box here. So here's my favorite one that I run. This is the 104G. The 5th generation's coming out right now too. I don't have a ton of experience with the 5G generation, but obviously they have their upgrades and stuff that they've talked about. There's a lot of similarities to this anyways. But what I wanted to get with you guys and show you that I'm installing this. I do not have to drop the tank, and I don't have to cut a hole in the bottom to put a sump. Those are really unnecessary. Those are things you really don't need to do. So I wanted to go over that with you guys and kind of show you briefly what we got in the box. Everything's a little bit scattered. Here's the 4 bolts. I'm going to show you what I use. These 4 little bolts that hold the AIRDOG on. I actually use 2 like oversized, much bigger bolts with lock washers and everything, and I'll show you that in there. You got a little gasket kit, so if you want to rip this whole thing apart and service it later on, they provide that. Zip ties for the wiring harness there. I mean, that's easy stuff, right? We're not going to talk about that. We have a lot of the fittings, 12/6/1 fittings, and then there's usually one that's marked with a red dot. That's our 11/8. Yeah, there it is. That one goes to the top of the fuel tank. You have all the fuel line here. We got a hose cutter right there, and basically you create the length that you need, right? So that stuff's really, really easy, so I'm not really too concerned about that. I already tapped in for the return line that goes into the tank. Super simple if you have the hose cutters right there, and then you can see the upgraded hardware I go with. Nobody really that I know of does anything like this, but I use this OEM hole right here. There's 2 of them, and I mark it all the way over on this side where I need to drill, and I'm only drilling 1 hole at that point versus drilling 4 little holes. And it's fine, you could do it, but you got to scrape all of the goo and stuff off because you have to get it perfect. Yeah, otherwise it's gonna walk all over. The drill bit doesn't like it on there. And then here's the AIRDOG assembly, right? So you're gonna see your 2 fittings on this side. Fuel is going this direction, so it's coming from here. So we're gonna run a fitting and a hose to another fitting to the top of the tank. There's only 1 fitting on the top of the tank you gotta get to. It's easy. And then we have our return line, and then we have to the tank. I mean, excuse me, to the engine, which is right here on this guy. So forgive me if I'm not being super detail oriented. The instructions can show you, maybe take it more step by step, but essentially once you bolt this in place, right, you got 2 bolts here. Here's the supplied hardware, these 4 bolts to hold this in place. I mean, it's not going anywhere. You're just gonna run 1 hose this way, and making a hose is real easy, and you're gonna run 2 hoses this way. One, the small guy, is gonna go all the way to the where we just showed you right now over there by the filler neck, and then this guy's gonna go right here, and that's it. Once it's done, it's done. And then we're gonna plug this into the wiring harness, run it to the front of the truck, and underneath the hood it's gonna be really easy, and we'll go over that too, where you plug it all in. And once you get that accessory wire ran, this pump's gonna turn on when you need it to. But why I'm telling you guys this is like why I feel it's super common. Just can't tell you how many AIRDOGs I've done. Like, I mean, I don't know, I can do them in my sleep now. a lot of you guys ask like FASS or AIRDOG. On the 15s and 16s, you want to go AIRDOG. Like, it's super simple. I don't know why you guys that are even in like Michigan and all that want to run a FASS, because it's better. It does have bigger filters and stuff and maybe slightly better filtration, whatever. But then you got to run a sump, which is completely unnecessary, and you have that hose that's hanging out from underneath the truck that will start breaking down and cracking and everything. I've seen these. They don't last but more than, I don't know, 6 years. Guys, I wanted to stop this video and throw the FASS instruction guide in here. I really like the FASS products. I just think that you guys obviously jump to a sump because you don't want this process. And this process right here in front of us, you're going to be able to tell really quick, right, what is involved. There's about 29 to 30 pages in the instructions. But this one right here, it'll tell you remove the filler neck, overload tubes, blah, blah, blah. That right there where the guy's pointing his finger is actually where we cut and put the return line in there. There's a lot of similarities from FASS and AIRDOG, but this one is going to require you to drop the entire tank. So what you're seeing there on B is the tab. C was actually the tank itself and you dropping it. This is the sending unit. So this is the top of the unit when the tank comes out. And you'll see right here that you have to drop it and you have to drill a hole into it. And when you do that, you're putting this fitting in here, right? And you're going to have a whole new mechanism that's going in there to suck the fuel out, the new straw. So not a lot of you guys want to do that or feel comfortable doing it. And you're going to be able to tell right here. They kind of show you again where you have to measure and everything. And the reason that I was telling you this in this video too, whether it was before or after this, is that like your fuel gauge. Actually, I think I tell you guys at the end of the video. It doesn't really matter. But what's important is that if you don't cut that straw perfect, you're either gonna have it, you're gonna run out of fuel sooner, or if you get it too close to the bottom of the tank, you may cavitate your pump and not be able to get the correct amount of fuel there because it's up against the bottom of it. So again, a couple unnecessary things that guys don't want to do. Right here you can see is the mechanism is starting to go back together. What it looks like. So here's with the hose installed to the fitting, and then obviously this is going to go and this is going to give you fuel to the unit. You know, where it's commanding fuel at the FASS system, right? In that little center mechanism that you see right there, there's like 3 little connectors on there. The middle one is actually that's all you do is disconnect that line, which you got to do to drop the tank anyways. And once you disconnect that line, you just pop a whole new fitting on there on the AIRDOG and you're done. And you're not dropping the tank, doing all this crazy stuff. There's plenty of room to reach over there and just do it without dropping anything. Right here you're seeing the mounting system. Yet again, another step that I don't feel is necessary. Where I have it in the video, it's super hidden, out of the way, out of harm's way. But right here you see that you have to take the bed bolt out, put the bracket in, and potentially see it off the side of the truck. So just wanted to explain that to you guys. Now if you're going to 11 to 14 LML, do FASS, do AIRDOG, it doesn't matter, right? I like where the AIRDOG mounts on these trucks too. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it for that. The reason I go with the 100 is it's not that the 165 is loud, but this is way quieter than the 165. You don't even know it's on, right? The 165 is in the same exact housing. Well, I can't show you. It's on the truck. It's on the same housing as the 100. So, I mean, it kind of tells you you're just running more fuel through it unnecessarily and getting dumped back into the tank, right? So a 165 really should be considered. If you're going to do like a CP3 conversion, injectors, turbo, whatever, if you're trying to like up in the horsepower and you're going to need more fuel and you don't want to run out, then I would go that direction, right? So super simple. Just kind of want to go over that with you guys. I'll finish the video here in a second, just kind of tie everything up, make all the hoses. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of hit on everything. You know, I think the FASS selling point, I mean, FASS is a great system, but their selling point is that, you know, I want to say I've seen things where they're like pouring water and they're like, look at, like, if we poured a gallon of water in here, like the truck would, you know, it would filter out the water better than an AIRDOG. I mean, that's not going to happen. And if it did, that's why we leave the OEM filter at the top. And we're not going to delete the OEM filter because it has a sensor in it that measures for water. So if water gets past the water separator and gets into there, you'll get a light on the dash, and then you'll be able to fix that problem. But even without a lift pump, right? If you're thinking about buying one, that means you have a truck that doesn't have a lift pump. Has that ever happened to you? It hasn't. So unless you're one, and it happens, but it is very rare. And I don't think that a FASS is warranted that. I mean, that's extremely rare for you guys to get a full tank of water, right? So whatever. If it's happened to you, great. Drop it down below. I'm curious to see how many people actually have gotten that. There is bad tanks of fuel that you can get, but I'm telling you, it's far in between, right? And the internet makes it sound like it happens all the time, and it doesn't. It's never happened to me, knock on wood. And I've been driving diesel trucks for over 10 years. So anyways, guys, that's it. So you want to check this out. The truck's too tall for me to like really see, but I got the wiring all in there. Positive, negative, and then I got in the fuse box, fuse number 39. So we're all set there. Still got a mess on the floor, but it's all right. Yeah, that install is not bad at all. Let me kill the truck. All right, now you guys can probably hear me better. Yeah, that really is it. I didn't want to make a super long video for you guys, but yeah, you can see, you know, an improvement. I don't want to say a ton, but maybe a little bit in fuel economy. Probably not anything noticeable or measurable. Throttle response, you'll definitely see, you know, if your truck's tuned and deleted, probably see a little bit of smoke, more smoke, you know. But yeah, the 100 is super quiet. Like, you guys, it's nuts. Like, you barely can hear this thing at all. Here. I don't know how well the camera picks this up. You can barely hear it. You just hear like a little bit of the fuel moving. Obviously the motor, but man, it's like nothing. It's not to the point where it annoys you or anything like that. It's just like, it's just a good sound. And when the truck's on, you can't really hear it at all. The truck overtakes that sound. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't got anything else for you guys. I hope I kind of covered everything. I would say the AIRDOG 4G 100 for the 15 to 16 LMLs is the way to go. And this is not my first time doing this. I've done countless ones of these, and they work pretty flawlessly. So I would go ahead and I would get one of these going, and skip the FASS if you're going to do the 15 to 16 year LML. It's just totally worth it for the install. The sump is not necessary. Dropping the tank with the FASS, put the big draw straw in there, not necessary. Your fuel gauge and everything is going to work just fine. And also, you're not going to be like running out of fuel at a quarter tank or eighth of a tank like you hear some of these other guys doing. The truck's going to be just perfect. So anyways, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.